Good afternoon. Can you believe? Here we are, another Friday. Yeah, I'm so happy to see that we've got people joining us on this lovely Friday afternoon, particularly because this is technically a long weekend. We don't know what that is anymore because we are more at home and working from home and doing all that good stuff. So yeah, we don't really know what it's like to have a long weekend anymore, I guess. So, but welcome. Thank you very much for joining Siba and myself. I'm really looking forward to introducing her to you and to chat with her. And I really got some interesting things that we're going to get into. And just the whole idea is that during the month of August, all we are going to do is to celebrate women. So all my guests will be women. Each have got their own story and their own journey, and also their own view on life. And just, you know, they are so inspirational, and some will make you cry and some will make you laugh, and some will make you think, I hope. And, you know, it's just really, you know, let's just celebrate this. I've said this many times that, you know, in financial planning, the future I see is going to be more and more women that will be joining the industry as financial advisors and financial planners. And this is happening globally. And this is an awesome phenomenon, almost, if you will. You know, so really looking forward to see where we go in time, and how this profession just improves with that female flair coming into the fold and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and particularly about the series that we're going to be doing. We've got some phenomenal, not some, we have, all of them are phenomenal, and all of them are just amazing. So I'm really happy with everybody that's going to be on the show. Unfortunately, some, you know, when we send out the request of who would be interested to be on the show, we really had a very, I didn't expect such a response. I think I got about 15 women that could have been on the show. Yeah, so what we are going to do, I am going to host all of them, but we can't do all of it in August. So some of it will stand over until September, October, and November. So we'll definitely bring them in because amazing stories, as I said, and that's really what this is about. Another thing that is quite important to me with these shows is that, you know, this is like a conversation. It's almost like you're in my living room and you are listening to people having a conversation. And that's really what's important. And I think that is what has made the show so successful to date. And on that note, so yeah, we hit 600 subscribers. Yeah, it is amazing. My mind is blown, to be honest. So thank you very much for everybody, and particularly to Kobus Klein, who keeps on pushing and making people aware of the show and doing posts. And I go for an afternoon nap on a Saturday, and then I wake up to a post, and that one post has brought us, we were on 542 on Saturday. Today, you know, when I spoke to him on Saturday night, he said to me, like, let's see if we can get to 600 by Friday, and we did it. So thank you very much. So yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I really appreciate you all being here. Denise was in the house first. That's very nice. Denise, thank you very much. I don't think you've missed almost any of the shows. You've been here since the start, you and Malcolm and that. So thank you very much. Deeply appreciate it. Kobus, welcome. I'm so glad that MDRT knows how to run events, and that they knew that you had to be in episode 93 of this. So happy with that. Renata, good afternoon, Renata. I think I owe you something, Renata. It's been a crazy week. Denise says, I'm looking forward to the show. Razan, good afternoon, Razan. Razan is going to be one of our guests. She will be the last guest for August, so really looking forward to chatting to her. Then Ross, good afternoon. Lekker, it's Tally's 8. You must close that fridge, please, because it's cold here. Zar, how do I pronounce that? I hope that's right. Welcome very much. Glad that you're here. Arun, good afternoon. Bronwyn over on LinkedIn, good afternoon. If you're over on LinkedIn, please say hi in the comments. You know, talk to one another and let me know that you're there. Really awesome. Carol, thank you very much. I had a good discussion with you this morning as well. Welcome. Kuketsu and Renee. Michelle, welcome. Yes, from a cloudy and a cold, may I add, Johannesburg. I'm in the West Rand in Krugersdorp. So yeah, it's really, it feels like I'm in Cape Town almost. We've got Sean Zipozile. Hope I've got that right. And then there's congrats on 600. Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you very much, Renata. Mike Kidwell, good afternoon. Also over on LinkedIn. Very nice to have you with us. Chomotso is, Chomomso. That's a new one. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. And Nkosazana Queenie. I remember you from the training we did at PPS, in Cape Town a while back. And Daniela, how awesome to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining. I deeply appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's sort of my introduction. I want to introduce Siba to you, and I really look forward to getting into this. Just before I do that, I need to make you aware of, we're going to have a special episode on Monday. Why is it special? Well, because I didn't want to do it on Sunday. Sunday is actually Women's Day, the 9th of August. But Monday is obviously then a public holiday because the public holiday fell on a Sunday. So I thought let's on the 10th, because normally we only go live Tuesdays and Fridays. But I'm going to do a special live episode. And we are going to have 3 phenomenal women on. We're going to do like a panel discussion. So we've got Mariette Tappen, we've got Carol Lindsay, and we've got Lelani. But I don't know. So you all know Lelani definitely from the FBI. Carol has been an audience member, and many of you should know her outside of this, obviously. Mariette as well. So really looking forward to chatting to all of them. Mariette has got some very special things that she wants to talk about and share, and the same with Lelani and Carol. So I'm really, really excited to get into it with the 3 of them on Monday. So join us Monday morning, 8 a.m. So we'll go from 8 until 9. And so that will be the second episode in this series coming up with us where we celebrate women. Alrighty, so on that note, poor Siba has been waiting anxiously for me at the back end. So Siba Njoba from Imvelo Wealth, welcome. I'm really happy to have a chat with you this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, Francois.
Thank you so much. I was so glad, I think you were sort of first out the gate and said, Francois, I'm very interested. And I was like, yes, because
yes.
we've been sort of communicating. Yeah, we've been communicating on WhatsApp and that, and I was like, how awesome would it be to have a discussion with you? So thank you very much for doing this.
Yes, and this is a one-on-one I've been looking forward to having. Thank you so much.
Awesome stuff. Righty, so tell us just a little bit about yourself, just a brief background, sort of what you do, where you are, and then we'll get into the story and all the rest of it that we want to talk about. But just briefly, just a brief introduction of yourself, please, Siba.
All right. So I'm a small town girl from Stutterheim in the Eastern Cape, and Stutterheim is a small town that is on the N6, and not much is happening in that town. We literally have like one robot, and so being a small town girl and growing up in a small town that didn't have a lot of opportunities and very little exposure to career options and all of that, it was a great opportunity for me to leave Stutterheim and go to study in the University of the Free State. But whilst I was in high school, I wasn't a typical teenager either. I started a number of businesses. I was selling Avon, I was selling Tupperware, and I think that's where I got a sense of financial independence from a very young age. And so when I left home and I went to the Free State to study, I did a BCom in economics. And actually, I wanted to become an economist. So I wanted to become an economist, right? So when I was at the University of the Free State, I got a fantastic opportunity to study abroad at Mississippi State University. And when I was at when I got back from Mississippi State, I got introduced to Glacier by Sanlam, which is a part of the Sanlam Group. And I was chosen to be a graduate trainee in their graduate program. So Glacier gave me a fantastic opportunity to have a good understanding of the industry, because in that program, I got to rotate within the various business divisions at Glacier. And it gave me a very good insight on how a LISP functions, a LISP being a linked investment service provider. So Glacier was my introduction to the industry, pretty much. So from Glacier, I took a position to be a financial planner at Alexander Forbes. I was a financial planner at Alexander Forbes for like 4 years. And then I left Alexander Forbes. I had a fantastic opportunity with Old Mutual's Black Distributors Trust. They had a partnership with Mastered Financial Planning, and they had selected 10 aspiring entrepreneurs with the intention of helping them set up their own financial planning practices. And of that 10, I was one of the successful candidates in that program. And so that is how Imvelo Wealth got an opportunity to come about. And we wouldn't be here as a business if it wasn't for the support that we received from the Black Distributors Trust. It was a fantastic opportunity to get good exposure and to be able to leave corporate and to start the business that we are in now.
That's amazing. And I mean, I didn't even know all of this. And this is what I love about the show is that, I do some research, but I don't do too much research because I love to be surprised by things like this. Like I never knew you went to Mississippi University. I mean, you've really had some amazing opportunities along the line, and I think what an opportunity just to get exposure to just a different way of doing things and a different way of seeing things and all of that. I think that must have been incredibly valuable for you in your journey.
That's correct. And if it wasn't for being at the right place at the right time with the right people to open doors for you, because as they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm a product of the people that have added value to my life and that have created opportunities for personal growth for me and opened doors for me to get to where I am today.
Yeah, you say such an important point there, and like it speaks directly to my heart because it was a couple of 4 years ago. I was actually sitting in believe this or not, in a financial management course, like how to work with your personal finances. Okay, so just because one understands financial planning doesn't necessarily mean you know some of the tactical stuff that we need to do. But anyway, that's not the point. What I want to share with you is that in this training session, this guy said that so what happens is that there's a lot of resources that are being put around you, but it is up to you and I to go and find those resources. And it's not always there. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's technology, it's things like that, but it's mainly people. And that struck me when you just said, there were people that opened doors for you. So that's the first part. You still have to choose to walk through that door, right?
That is correct. That is so correct.
So well done.
And so,
so let's continue. I mean, sorry, I just wanted to make that statement, Siba, to say, I think it's amazing. Yes, the opportunities and all of that.
So Imvelo actually got its license to operate last year. So we're technically a year in business. And I think our vision is to become a premier financial planning practice and to be one of the largest Black-owned financial planning practices in the country. I mean, if you look right now, the FPI has only 14 approved practices, right? So of those, none are Black female owned. So there's a definite need in the market, or this is the playground in which we want to play in. So that's one of the reasons why we are in business. It's also to build a business that's future fit, and to be able to just find ways in which we can make financial planning relatable to the man on the street.
Yeah.
And add value to the clients that we have.
Yes, that's amazing. And it's so important that, I mean, you're talking about like there's 14 like approved FPI practices, or I'm not sure what it's called, but I know you got to have a certain number of CFPs in the practice, and there's all these requirements. So it's an approved practice. And it's interesting. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say that there's none that is Black female owned at this stage?
That I know of.
Okay. Is it totally Black owned or just specifically Black female owned?
Female.
Yeah. So you're going for to be the first practice to have that. That's right. Awesome. You have my full support. So you must just shout. You've got my number. So yeah, whatever we can do to help to make that happen, you should shout. Anyway, so so let's get a little bit. I mean, obviously now it sounds like you've had this idyllic life, and it's like one opportunity after the next, and just going to be able to go study in America. So it sounds all this weird and wonderful things, but has there been anything in your journey up until this point that has been like sort of that's driving you almost?
It's definitely got to be passion. You cannot fake passion. You have to be so authentic, because if you're not operating from your authentic self, you're not going to end up where you want to be. I really believe in being in your lane, understanding what you want to achieve, and also being an entrepreneur. I've learned the importance of being resilient, having a lot of tenacity, importance of having agility, being able to be ready to move, because change is a constant, especially in our world. So people catch on to your energy that you give. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and I agree, and I think maybe where we connected as well is exactly that, is that energy that you portray. So that's good, and I hope that there's definitely some other young black females in general just having a listen this afternoon, and I want to encourage people to connect. You should connect with one another. Then this is what this community is all about. It's also putting people in touch with one another, maybe have the same vision, the same outlook, the same values, and have maybe the same dreams and goals that they want to achieve. So definitely connect with one another via the show. I think that's quite important. Right, so let's get into the topic for today's show is actually unlocking financial and personal power for women. I mean, that is a very strong sort of objective and a very strong title for this. So let's start off with financial power for women. Talk to us a little bit. What does that mean, and where do we start?
It's just basically a state where you are so in control of your financial state, in control of your financial decisions, pursuing financial freedom and not being enslaved to debt, understanding your relationship with money, having a good sense of money management, and encouraging women to empower themselves financially to get to a point where they feel that they've got power over their finances.
So my question immediately then becomes, Siba, if I mean, what are some of the major obstacles? Is it financial education, financial literacy? Is it something else? Is it culture sometimes? Is it that I don't know, women think that they aren't in control and they always need to look to someone else to sort of help them with the finances, things. What are the obstacles? Why is this? What do you think is the reason that we haven't, that this is now becoming a focus and a lot of people are talking about it, but what has been the thing that has kept this from happening in the past now?
I really believe that it's a very individualistic thing. Where I am financially, it's a direct representation of the financial decisions that I've made. And so it's important for women to be able to take control of their finances. The same goes for their careers. They need to take control of where they are and where they want to be financially, career, life holistically.
Yeah. And do you think that women feel that they have the freedom to be able to do that?
Not all. Definitely not all.
And why is that? Can you?
And again, that would talk to their earnings potential. It's important to understand where they are in their respective life stages. So if someone is starting out or in the middle of their career or at the end of their career, it really depends where they are and how they're managing their money. So again, that it talks to the point you were raising earlier about financial literacy, about good money management, and how everything else ties together.
Yeah, I want to make quite a strong statement. Yes, I saw that the Standards International, Michelle Hoskins and them recently launched a new course. Actually, I don't know if you're aware of this, about how advisors can help clients that are suffering from financial abuse. And that is actually defined, I know, in the UK in their Domestic Violence Act. That it is. I haven't had time to go and look at whether South Africa is sort of also, but I would guess that it would be the same, that financial abuse. Often it is a case where the finances are controlled by the other party in the relationship, and by that they sort of try and manage everything that the women can and can't do. So I know I'm getting very like, this is some
Definitely.
serious
and
stuff, but
and and,
what do
and,
you
and
find?
and that's why I say it's very important. If one has been in an abusive relationship, that abuse not only impacts the financial situation but where they are emotionally. And when one is negatively impacted emotionally, that hampers the way in which they see the world. They value their own self-esteem, and their whole outlook in life, if so when you're dealing with someone who's gone through that, you first need to understand and have a great deal of sympathy, understanding what they've been through and how to hold their hand to help them, first of all, get their thinking straight. And once you've mastered that, make necessary changes that you'd have to look into in terms of where they are financially and where they want to be.
Yeah. And I think so many people put their value, and you mentioned this, like yourself, how much you value yourself, and the way that you view yourself. Finances has actually got such a significant impact on that. So if you can get control of your finances, and through that, because often your independence is often linked to whether you are financially okay and secure. And I think those are the kind of things that is really a challenge for many women out there.
And also when it comes to careers, there's surveys done. Our male counterparts earn more than women, so it's one of the things that we also need to take into account, that there's a gender pay gap. We need to find ways to bridge that, and women have to constantly continuously develop professionally, study further, finding ways in which they can increase their skill sets, and finding just ways to keep moving or progressing in their careers.
Yeah, no, that's powerful, and that's where it is, eh? One can either sit back and try and take the shots, or you can say, listen, I've got to continuously improve, I've got to continuously develop, and show my worth. And
it's a
yeah, so
journey.
yeah, it's a journey, eh? That's so. You and I actually spoke about that yesterday, like a lot of like it's about the journey. So, I mean, you also talk about the need for women to be financially woke. Can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about that?
Financial workness talks to clear-headedness in terms of financial decisions you're making. The decisions that you make every day, they impact your life holistically. So your life basically is a culmination of the decisions that you make, financially, relationships, all around. So financial wokeness really talks to understanding where's your money going, avoiding consumerism, setting financial goals, and having a financial plan to achieve them.
Yeah. So is there? I mean, this is our sort of playing devil's advocate, but is there? If you say like you got to have a financial plan, because we hear that over and over and over again, you got to have a financial plan. You must have a financial plan. You must have a financial plan. But it like, is it? I mean, where do you start? If you find yourself in this position where like you feel like, well, your money is out of control, maybe you spend a lot of money because you're trying to fill some void that's on the inside, or maybe it's just something that proves that you're successful, or something to that effect. I guess it'll be different for different people, but where should, if anybody finds them in that position, where do they start to say? I mean, obviously the first thing would be that they got to become aware that, whoa, things are not as great as I think they are. But what is the starting point to get something like a financial plan together if you find yourself in that situation?
I would say your bank statement, all the figures are there. So if you were to just sit down and have a look at your past 6 months bank statement, they will tell a bit of your financial story. From your bank statement, you will know what's coming in, you will know what's going out, and how you are spending your money. And it's in that process of sitting down and analyzing what's coming in and going out where you can say, okay, this is how much I earn, these are all my expenses. Where is the unnecessary expenditure or excessive expenditure? And then you can at least come up with strategies to curb that. If you're shopping too much, plan your shopping. If your negative traits of spending are all there.
Yeah.
So that is a good place to start.
Yeah, thanks. I fully agree with you. And I think what often happens is that inherently we know that we are we are wasting money, or we are not doing the best with our money, but we try and ignore that, because then we don't have to deal with it. But you're so right. If you want to take stock of how well you are working with your money, just look at your bank statement. It tells a very good story. So that story can either be good or it can be bad, but it at least will sort of show you that, whoa, here's the realization that I need. And then knowing that you can change that. It doesn't matter. And I think a lot of people actually in this time that we're in currently, and I hate referring to the time that we are in, but it is bring a lot of things to the fore that we now, like, suddenly people are looking at how they spend their money, because maybe there's not more money coming in at the moment. So this is an opportune time to change everything in your life if you wanted to. This is sort of the time.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And, I'd rather you start now than later. And it's a process to build healthy financial habits. But before you can do that, you need to know, what am I getting wrong?
Yeah. All right. So there's obviously a lot of power in advice, financial advice, life advice. I guess, there's so many aspects to this. But how does women particularly, or how do women, particularly, see, I'm from the Free State, just by the way. You see, that's also why we connected, because you went to the University of the Free State. I was born in the Free State, so that's the thing. But where do women start? Like, if they want to start unlocking this power of advice, where do they start, and what do you mean with that exactly?
So remember, I talked about having full control over your finances, and that's where this power comes from. So you have to understand where you are and where you want to be. And I think that is a crucial starting point, because if you don't understand how much indebted you are, or what is going wrong with my finances, you will not have clear strategies in terms of being able to draw up a plan to get you out of the mess, right? So one just has to start where they are, then take it or break it down over a 3 to 6 month period to say, all right, over the first 3 to 6 months, what financial changes am I making? Do I need to get another job? Do I need to do I need to find a skill and convert that skill as a side to a side job that I can use to earn revenue on the side? So one needs to just put themselves in a position as to say, what solutions can I think of to get me out of the problem that I'm in? And a financial advisor or a financial planner is someone who can hold your hand throughout that process of helping you to achieve your financial goals. Yeah. And also, earlier we spoke about human capital, and I think it's important to have people that you can talk to get advice, not financially, but with regards to your career as well. Remember, we spoke about having people who can help you open or unlock opportunities. So it's important to have a circle of women that that this is my resource center.
Yeah. And I want to add, Siba, if I may, I'm thinking, like, so on Tuesday, I was at the doctor's. Okay. So I got diagnosed with high blood pressure. Okay. Which is it's not new news to me. It's nothing. It's like I knew, but like, I think just everything and obviously I'm not exercising and doing the things that I should be doing. So I got that, and I got a little pill that I now need to drink. But in that meeting, because obviously, I mean, if you think about it, I think a lot of people in general, but women as well, they are afraid to go to a financial advisor because they think you're going to look at that bank statement and say, "Ish, what's happening here? Don't you know how to work with you?" They're going to get judged. They're going to be put on the spot, and then they're going to be taken apart to say, "But why are you doing this and why are you doing that?" And I want to relate this back to my experience with the doctor. The doctor, when he said to me, I mean, obviously when he looked at me, I think he could already see like there's lots of problems here. But the doctor said to me, "Listen, so you've got high blood pressure. This is how high your blood pressure is. This is what we need to do as a start. And then from there, this is what you will need to do." No judgment. Nothing about like you're lazy. You don't look after yourself. Don't care about yourself. None of that. And I think it's so much the same when it comes to financial advice, that a lot of people are so afraid, one, to confront that they inherently know, as I said, that they don't have control over their money. But secondly, that if they do go and get help, that they will be judged for what they've done till now. And that is absolutely not the case.
It's definitely not the case. And also, advice is so relevant for all life stages. You know, let's make a typical example when someone's going through a divorce. They will speak to the divorce attorney, they'll go all around the courts and do all of that work, but they never see a financial advisor. Little things about updating your will within that 3-month period of having the divorce finalized, little things like that. And also crafting a financial plan that can just help you keep afloat, or just help you from recover actually from that event. So financial advice is relevant throughout all life stages and all life events.
Yes, yes. And you bring up such an important thing, and I think we're actually going to talk a bit about it on Monday as well. But that's so important that, these life events happen to you, even like whether it's moving to another country, whether it's getting divorced, whether having been diagnosed with an illness, it doesn't matter. The last thing that we think about in all of those cases is getting financial advice. And usually then by the time you get there, it's never too late to get the advice, but it would have been fantastic if you knew that before you went through the entire process. So in fact, I would love for clients to think about this first. And I do think that for us, and I'm not a financial planner anymore, but in our game is that it is our responsibility to keep on talking about these things so that clients can become aware, like, listen, whatever happens, whether it's a baby that's born or somebody's going to study or finish studying, whatever the case is, there's always that is a big life event, and we need to get some advice as far as that is concerned. So there's also, obviously, I would say, if we talk about wealth and success, what it means to me and what it means to Siba is two completely different things. So it's a very personal thing. Am I right?
That's correct.
Do you have some form of a definition for what that could look like? Or is there a process that you help people to actually define what that means for them?
It all starts with probing. Personally, I'll give you my definition of wealth. It's really a state of abundance, of having more than enough money financially, being in good health, because health is the new wealth right now, especially in the current pandemic. Having human capital, relationships, family. It's not just about having money in the bank account. Wealth is a state where you are financially secure. Money is the seed in which you build wealth. Your money must be able to help you meet your financial obligations, but you need to be in a space where you have more than enough.
Yes, and see, that's where the personalization comes in, right? Is like you got to have more than you need, really. And that's why it's different for every person, because one person will need 10K a month, and live a luxurious life, according to them. Another person, 100,000 a month is not enough.
Okay. And when it comes to success, Richard Branson says true success should be measured by how happy you are. And that's why I'm just saying to you, for me, wealth is just not one realm of just having money alone. You must incorporate other things as well.
Yeah, that's so
including
important.
how happy you are, because that ultimately impacts your success.
Yes. No, I like you. I fully agree with you. I actually had a conversation with someone this morning, and I said, again, and I say this over and over and over again, is that, I can never do something that I hate for R1 million a month. I just can't. The money, there's no amount of money that can let me do that. And unfortunately, there are so many people that feel, and I think specifically women as well, and specifically if they're single moms, and that's even worse, because they feel that they have to provide. So they will do things that do not make them happy. They will be in a dead-end job, but they need the money and they can't afford to make a change, and they can't afford to do these kind of things, which is sad, really. And often I think what may happen is that once they then get, and let's say they do that while the kids are still in school and the kids leave the house, then they don't know what to do now, because that's all that they've come to know, and it's become like a habit almost. Do you find this in practice?
Again, I'll just take this to a point of the life stages. When one is starting out and they don't have much qualifications and experience, they don't earn much. So as they grow throughout the years, they'll build on their CV, get more skills, get more education, and ultimately earn more. So in between there are a lot of financial issues that are happening, as you are mentioning, the children going to school. One just has to have a balancing act, hey, France. Honestly, you have to understand how much am I earning, what can I do with the financial resources that I have in my hand, and then from what you've got, allocate a bit to savings, a bit to the day-to-day expenses, and a bit to meet financial obligations.
Yeah. So it's actually a very practical thing that one could do, but yeah, it's still, I feel like there's so many people that just can't make that decision. It's either keeping up with the Kumalos next door, or it is showing my family that I'm doing well, or I'm the only breadwinner and therefore I've got to do certain things. I think there's a lot of we allow too many social things to come in the way of our financial independence. I think often we let personal circumstances sort of dictate, and then it pushes us down a path that we don't necessarily want it to go down that path, and we lose the happiness along the way and the confidence and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds like I'm very negative and it's all these bad things that I'm coming up with, but it's reality.
It's definitely reality. And let's look at it with the current economic environment. We're seeing job losses, we're seeing pay cuts. It's really tough. So it all requires an adjustment. One really just always has to keep going to the drawing board to say, this is where I am and what do I need to do now to make sure that I come out of the rut.
Alrighty, cool. So let's move on. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about, all the things I've actually been talking about are like barriers, and they are unique to each and every single person. No person, well, it might be that you and I are dealing with the same kind of barrier or the same kind of challenge, but it is still different because it's almost like this whole COVID thing. In the beginning, everybody said we're all in the same boat. And then people said, no, that's nonsense. We're not in the same boat. We may be in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat because everybody's got their own issues, right?
True.
But how do we start to overcome this, Siba? What would be step one to get out of this?
Remember, as I said to you, we're as you're saying, in fact, we're all going through the storm, but are not on the same boat. So it's just really taking it from a point of where am I? Have a clear vision of where you want to be. And then you set up a plan as to what am I going to do? My daily decisions will impact where I end up ultimately. So what am I going to do today to make sure I'm in a different position 6 months down the line? So you have to just take it a day at a time.
Yeah. Happy. Through all of this, I think something that one really needs, because, you will be, particularly if you start getting your I've done this quite a few times where I had to restart my finances and sort of say, whoa, things are getting out of control. Let's regroup and recover sort of, and then say, okay, what are we going to do, and make hard decisions about, maybe you sell this or you stop doing this, and you gotta make those decisions for your long-term well-being, right?
That's great.
But how important is one's, if we talk about mindset and mindfulness, I think that is so critical, because that is what pulls you through when things are tough. That is what actually I think enables you to make hard decisions. It is what really sort of say, listen, I know this is the reason why I'm doing it, so therefore I will see it through. But what is the importance of mindfulness for you and for your clients?
Mindfulness is really about bringing yourself more to yourself. As we said earlier, success is so subjective. It really just talks to what you want to achieve and how you see your life looking like. And one can use mindfulness as a tool to achieve the life or the desired life that one wants to live. So, as it stands today, women are natural multitaskers. But it's just important for one to just de-stress, focus, and find where they are now and where they want to be. And this is just all a process. You need to take time, whether it's a good 10 to 30 minutes, finding time to appreciate the things that are going right, because we are in a society that is just so full of negative news. But one has just to find that time where they center themselves and look for the positives intentionally, so that they don't just get swallowed up in the rut of the negative news and the negativity in the environment. You have to shut the noise to be able to hear what you are saying to yourself, and understanding that your journey or your success journey is individual. So for you to pave your path, you need to be so in tune with where you are and where you want to go.
Yes, and for that, you really need to know yourself, right? I mean,
That
that
is
that in
correct.
itself is sort of a journey, and I think that is the start of the journey, is really getting to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you're not going to know what's important to you. You're not going to know when to say no and when to say yes, and you know what kind of people to allow into your life and which not. So that in
Yes.
itself is so critically important. So I've spoken a lot about, and you and I've now discussed a lot of I focus a lot on the challenges and the realities of things, and where do we start, how do we start just overcoming these challenges, and obviously we've now spoken about mindfulness, but then also, you know, what if we start, like, when can we say, like, yay, you know, I've done something, or yeah, I've achieved my goal, or, you know, when do we start celebrating, like, if we have a win? Is it at the end, you know, when I can say, whoa, I've got no more debt, I've got 100K in the bank, I've got a pension fund, I've got this and this and that, you know? What is your view? When should we celebrate and say, like, wow, this plan is working?
So remember, Franz, life is not one big event. It's a culmination of little milestones. And I really believe it's important to celebrate those milestones, and not letting our own limitations get in our way of celebrating where we come from and where we are now, and also celebrating where we want to go. It's very important to be present and acknowledging your effort. And being intentional about celebrating your milestones is all about that effort, celebrating that. Because if you don't, you will end up competing with others because you're not acknowledging the effort that you are putting in, or patting yourself in the back to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, that's so critically important. Um, Siba, so obviously now with everything that has changed, and I don't know, you know, I mean, you obviously started together with your co-founder. You started Imvelo Wealth. What is your focus at Imvelo Wealth? Do
We
you have a
we
specific client you focus on?
we've got a pool of clients, your young professionals, your business owners, and we've got a good pool of retirees. So it's a good brand right across. I think it's important for us to have that, because if we can't just focus on your retirees, for example, your older clients that are close or that have retired and are aging. So it's important for us to just have a blend of clients that are young professionals, mid, and those that are in their mid career, as well as the retirees.
Yeah, amazing. Where are you based?
We are based in Rivonia. Our office is in Rivonia. It's
Okay.
377 Rivonia Boulevard.
Okay, you could have said we're everywhere because we work virtual now.
Well, yeah, we are everywhere now, technically. But I think
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking of that because I'm at the office
Yeah,
presently.
awesome. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding with you. So good stuff. So I want to have a look quickly at some of the comments here and bring them. Queen, who's I think Queen, you were down somewhere in, I don't know, don't kill me, I can't remember, but I know you were like in Cape Town's areas where I met you. She says, this is amazing stuff. As the black female youngies, it's a new word for me, youngies, in the industry, we are watching and we are inspired. So thank you very much for that. So please, as I said earlier, if you can connect with one another, or just link up on LinkedIn or follow each other on Twitter. There's a lot of discussion that can be had that way. Tendani says, I'm proud of you, Siba. I don't know Tendani, but probably you know Tendani. I'm not sure. So let's say, what else have we got? Elmo here says, great thought, Siba. It is astounding how people actually ignore their bank account. Yes. Don't tell anyone. They use it to receive and spend, but never go and study it. Look at debit orders, spending, cash withdrawals. Yes. I think Alma makes such a big point, and just shows how powerful your statement was. Like, your starting point is your bank account. You don't have to go look for all weird and wonderful statements and phone Edgars and Truers and all these people. Just look at your bank statement. Let me see what else. Tindani says that the current pandemic has revealed how deep the socio-economic conditions we face as a country. How does one focus on their financial plan journey while trying to help out family? Siba?
Pardon me?
No. So like he's asking, like, in this current pandemic, how does one focus on their financial plan if they also trying to help out their family?
Oh, and this is one of the things. Normally, one would even call this black tax. It's a reality. In an environment where we've got siblings that are losing jobs, you just have to play a juggling ball. And also, when you are doing your budget, put aside money that that this money I'm going to be sending home to support them, or this is money that I'm going to be sending as my contribution to those who need help.
Yes, I think that's a very hard thing to do.
It definitely is.
Specifically if you the bigger the family, the more challenging that will become, and especially like the more you become successful, the more people may start to look at you and say, well, can you help us, and that kind of thing, So I wouldn't understand all of that, but it is. I mean, we've got like parents who are growing older, and that we also start supporting and doing things. But it's not nearly to the degree of what you're referring to now. So there's really some unique challenges that we need to learn more about and know more about. Sean also says, mindfulness, not only about getting out of a bad place, it is just as much about staying in or getting to a good place. Sean, I agree with you. Let's see, Amanda, nice to see you. Yes, Queen Siba. Hi, everyone. Oh, it's been a while. Here's to the future of advice and customer-centric engagements. Yeah, I wonder what happened to you, Amanda, because you disappeared like mist before the sun. But glad to see you here. Great question, Tindani. Yes. And then Fatizwa says, be present and acknowledge your efforts. Yes, absolutely. And here's the one thing that I want to sort of end off with is to say, don't look to others for recognition. Don't look to others for validation. Don't look to others for saying like, oh, but you're successful. Don't go and search for that externally. You need to look at that. That needs to come from the inside, and then it is sustainable. So cool stuff. That's it from me. Siba, is there some last thoughts that you want to share, or anything that you want to mention?
I just want to say to all the ladies this month, you've got the power. It's in you. You've got everything that you need to succeed. It's in you. So you just need to tap into yourself and get yourself where you want to be.
Amazing stuff. What a message to end off with. Siba, from my side, from the whole virtual coffee with Francois, a community, all your friends that was here, maybe clients and that thank you very much for sharing with us. I really enjoyed this conversation. Hope you did too. And I will chat to you again soon. So thank you very, very much, and have a blessed Women's Month. And just may your business be blessed, and your life and all of that. So and keep up the energy and the passion and all of that. It's really, really amazing. So I really value that about you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'll see you back on Monday morning, 8 a.m. Lalani, Carol, and Mariette. I'll see you then.